Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is my first official video and I will be doing a review for the movie Oppenheimer, which I found to be a huge disappointment. It was really slow paced, boring. I mean, just to start the movie, there's the scene when he was potentially thinking about poisoning his professor because of a disagreement, and that was a really off-putting way to kind of start the movie and kind of get used to this character that he's already kind of, it's kind of an odd thing the way to start a movie. Usually you don't do that with a character that you want to the crowd to relate to, the audience to relate to. So I found that a bit odd. And then there's a lot of parts that all the characters that were coming in and out of this movie was just an insane amount of characters. There's this Russian guy here and this guy with an accent here and this character here, and I don't think that 90% of the people that saw this movie could keep track of maybe even half of these characters. It was just constant bombardment of new characters, just too much. The what would have been interesting is if they would have gone further into the actual science of how the bomb was, how the breakthroughs that made this bomb possible. They didn't go into the science really. They just they started putting marbles into a jar, and when that started, I thought, okay, this should be cool because they're going to show how these atoms work together, and we're going to see how this this interesting bomb is created, and we're going to learn about the science of it and how this breakthrough happened. But none of that really was explained. It was just kind of like they just were more focused on these characters and also I just want to side point, the female characters in this movie were absolutely horrible. They were just it was just a really bad tone. Like there was babies crying and in the movie, and the women were screaming and drunk and just always, screaming and cursing, and it was really bad. Like the female characters were just hard to watch in this movie. Um, and that's what I'm talking about right here with the marbles in the jar there. Like they could have really elaborated on how much of a breakthrough this bomb was. And so finally they get to the part where the bomb drops just for the testing part, which was like the huge climax it was supposed to be, and it was just kind of like a dud. It just like it wasn't as, I don't know, they just did it real silently, and they didn't it didn't have the effect that I think they were going for. It wasn't as cool as what we had all waited for. And then all of a sudden after that, there's another hour of pure basically dialogue and military tribunal type courtroom stuff with this Strauss character that was just a part of this story that I don't think anybody was super interested in, like this side plot between Strauss and him having this feud with his potential links to the Russians and communism. And I just found it to be so boring, and so like this movie really dragged on. Like I made an effort to not look at my phone, um, because you don't really want to do that in the movie theater, because it's frowned upon. It kind of can ruin the experience for others when everyone's looking at their phone. So I made a very good effort to try to not look at my phone. And the bomb dropped, and then I looked at my phone just to see how far we were in, and I was already pretty, like at this point I was extremely bored. Like I was like hoping it was further along, and it was only 2 hours along. So I'm thinking I've still got another hour, and the final hour was just complete courtroom military drama, pure boredom. I wanted to leave. I stayed because I wanted to give it a chance, and also I didn't want to walk past people in the lobby, and it would be a pain to get out. The theater was relatively full, and the final hour was like excruciatingly boring. They should have never gone that far into that side story with Strauss, the Robert Downey Jr. character. They shouldn't. There was more interesting aspects to this event that could have been done. I mean, they never showed the actual bomb drop. They never showed the bomb drop on Japan, like the aftermath or anything like that. They just kind of implied it. Um, there was a lot they could have done that would have been a lot more interesting than the Strauss side plot. Absolutely. And it just like I don't know. It just a lot of the things just kind of threw me off. Like the way he smoked in the movie, it looked really fake. They didn't really have smoke coming out of the pipes, and it just a lot of things just didn't really click for me. And I'm not gonna recommend this movie. And sometimes you have to watch a movie at home when it comes out on digital to really understand what they were going for. Because I found that before, like I thought a movie was really bad, and then I saw it at home and I kind of warmed up to it. But this one is just going to be really hard to try to watch again because I know I didn't like it the first time. Like I really didn't like it, so I probably still will just to give it another chance at home because sometimes it's more enjoyable at home. But I still can't imagine ever wanting to see like this more than once or twice. Like this is not that type of movie that you go back to and you have fond memories of and you watch again and again. This is not that movie in my opinion. I know I'm in the minority in that opinion. There seems to be a lot of people that like it, or at least were incentivized to say they like it. I'm not in that crowd. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Um, and that's even a bit generous. I'm going to give it the 4 out of 10 just because it's a hard story to tell and they put some effort into it. And I respect Nolan's work on this. Like I respect his attempt at least. Because it's not like a adventure, thriller type movie where everything's, super exciting. So it's not an easy story to tell, of course, but it still could have been done a lot better. They could have cut this into a 2-hour movie and made it a lot more exciting, taken out a lot of the courtroom, military tribunal stuff. And that would have just made it a way better, more interesting movie. Yeah, so 4 out of 10. Disappointed. Just really disappointed. Yeah, it didn't. Because I was someone who was interested in this story too, and I can't imagine like a lot of people that don't even know much about it. I can't even imagine them getting even slightly interested in this. So yeah, I think it's doing really well at the theaters though. Like I think that's more to do with that there's not anything else out right now that's really bringing people in. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But I'm seeing a lot of negative reviews now. But when this originally came out, when I first saw it, almost everything was giving it a 90%. Every review I saw was like super positive for it. And now over the last couple weeks, there's been a few more. Like people are starting to kind of like when I'm looking at the reviews on Google and stuff, there's a lot of 1 stars. So I'm not in as far in the minority of in that opinion than I was when I first saw it a couple weeks back. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of people now that are starting to agree with this opinion that it's a bad, really not that great of a movie. Very boring, very long, way too many characters. My advice is if you're really kind of desperate for something to do and you haven't seen a movie in a while, then I'd say go check it out just for the love of films. But I think you're going to be disappointed. I think it's not something you want to bring your family to or kids to or anything like that. The kids will be totally bored out of their skull with this. This is something that only a very certain particular group can really, I think, is really going to like this movie. And for me, it was the bomb was a dud, just to say that. So yeah, 4 out of 10. And thanks for checking out the review. I'm going to be doing one video per week. I'm going to be reviewing new movies, old movies. I've seen a lot of movies in my day, and I'm a big movie fan, so I figured that I could offer a lot of reviews that are more in depth than the average person. And I also think that I enjoy going over people's comments and their opinions, and I'll always respond to you if you leave a comment. I'll try very hard to respond to every comment, and I'll try to not just thank you, but an actual reply that engages your comment and your opinion. So thanks for checking out the video. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I can, and the more growth I can get, the more videos I can put out. And yeah, thank you very much for your time. Please like the video and please subscribe, and thank you for watching.